Evening all. So this is a response to my mate Jörg. First up, video. Mate, you did a hell of a video there. I just love the stereo flashing back and forth, panning stuff in the intro. That's fabulous. Now, me, I suck at videos. I have to turn this thing around because I don't think there is a way that you can film face on, or maybe the picture-in-picture stuff works, but let's go back so I can see what's in frame. I have no idea if I'm even in this. Fabulous video, and he's talking about this little beast here. And the way he's got it is very interesting. And it's a tough video to get through because basically, say you're looking at an iPad or you're looking at a phone or something, everybody's just going to be different. What's where, how it works. It's a good analogy for MIDI controllers, because if you give your phone to someone, they are going to be completely lost. Same thing with the MIDI controllers, and what is amazing about these things is this, that there's a whole science behind the ergonomics of where you're putting the thing. Can you hit it? How big are your feet? A question that comes up a lot in the MIDI group is, I'm hitting the wrong switches, or, I've got these big clunking feet here. Maybe we should do like, the hell was the guy's name? Famous for the Dumble amp, jazz dude. He always performs in these long, pointy, elf-like shoes, and he can chicken pick these things. This is something that I find fascinating, but it's really hard to do a video on and make it well understood. But let's have a quick look around here. I'm constantly, pan out a bit, trying to figure out the best way to set up my studio. There's the workbench, which you can see is a complete mess right now, but 9 times out of 10, I have some of this stuff up here, which is where I'd prefer it, because if I'm messing with the beast down there, the old Helix LT, I'm building stuff on the fly, and I always do it by hand directly on the unit. I don't connect computers. I don't like computers. I keep that and plug my Samsung into it if I need a computer, but I really hate Windows and used to be a Mac fan. There's my old Mac. I've been most of my life working with computers, and when it comes to music, I don't want to hear it. It's probably a really silly thing to do, but what are you going to do? There's my babies. So, back to ergonomics. This is something I find fascinating. What I'm usually trying to do is find a way to do everything wireless now. Right now, this is a big mess, but that board, as you can see with that handy dandy Mission 529HC, this thing is completely, when it's all hooked up, battery powered, as is that one. And between this one and that one, the iridium will probably go here. Probably definitely is going there. All I have to do is connect one cable from this to that audio cable, and that is it. This is a input, goes through this box here, the SIM1. This converts that 60 different guitars in one into 160 different guitars in one, and by that I mean pickups, not actually 160. But all of these guitars are in there, and many others from all over the world, which I can't afford. It's a wonderful thing. This controls that, but it also controls everything else, and these connect wirelessly. So what's the point of all this? Problems I'm having, and something I want to see discussed in the group, is this. Once you've latched these down, and I've been the better part of a year not latching stuff down because I'm constantly changing it, I never have to touch these controls. They're loud as hell. This, by comparison, is quiet and nice when it's not bangling around. Listen. all these things make a difference if you're on a quiet stage or if you're just picky about these things. Who cares? But I've always had my return to home, these two, and that's now a pain. So I've got to move it here. So in response to Jörg's video, and as a message to everyone else, there is no right or wrong way. It would be like saying, why do you do your, it's your thing, do whatever the hell you want. What he's done is fascinating in that, and this is something I really want us to get into in the Midi group. The toys are nice and all, but what's interesting is how fast can you get to what you need to get to? Or how do you remember where stuff is if you don't have a screen like that? Or what's the best design feature? And why this is interesting is most of that work has already been done by Line 6 in their stuff. And yeah, there are some things like pre 2.8. To go up, you'd have to actually hit the up button there. Now they've made it reversible after a long, long time, but that should have been obvious. And it's these should have been obvious things that change for everyone. Everyone has a different taste. But how this moves, I'd eventually designed this. If this comes off, it's wireless. You can stick it anywhere. When I'm live, that is not plugged into anything. It's sitting off here by itself, or I can piss off over there by the window and sit there, strum away all day, and I've got everything I need in 4 buttons. Everything. That drives this, which is fabulous. And if I'm not needing music coming out of this, I don't have to connect a cable to it. I can just go over there by the window with that and that and choose any of 100 guitars, 160, and go. And you've got your expression pedal there. I use expression pedals for everything. You can stick another one here, so I can do that. And this is where I think things need to go. So for Jörg's thing, really, man, it's pretty wild. What you've done, if I'm understanding it, is set this up so that you can go into any view and you can get access to anything in any view. Now, here's my question to all and sundry. Do you need to? Is that what you want, or do you have better ways of doing it? Or what are your experiences, especially guys like Jörg who play live and do exciting stuff? What works and what doesn't work? I think this is something that we really could do with discussing in detail a lot more. It can be boring for people coming in, I suppose, because it would be like saying, well, here's how I use my iPhone. Who cares? If it works, it works. And that's great. But what a lot of us, when we're building, we want everything nice and neat and compact and tight. Here's the problem. And I'm asking you, Jörg, do you have a problem with these two things being so close? Or do you have little chicken feet? Or how do you do it? I visualize this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These and up and down. And these do different things depending on which mode I'm in, just as his ones do different things. But there are some things which I've said, probably I don't need that. And you can bet the barn there's going to be something wrong in that somewhere along the line. You can always change it and fix it, but it's a fascinating subject. So if you haven't seen Jörg's vid yet, I'll post it in the group soon. It's amazing. Look at it. Your eyes will probably cross 2 or 3 times because it's not the greatest subject of all times, but it is fascinating. It really is fascinating. So have a think, boys and girls. If you should feel so inspired, I promise I will watch every video that you put out on this stuff. You certainly give me no problems with mine. What else can we gain and share as a hive mind? Because this is really what this group is about. Where do your things work best? I mean, forget left, right foot, or left and right-handed. Should this go over here or there? Normally I would have that board in place of that one and this one closer to my right foot. And when I'm going live, like live, I'm using OnSong, and OnSong is doing everything, and I don't have to care. And when I'm in the studio, it's a completely different story. I want access to everything, and I want access to everything by hand, so I can just flick through, do stuff. If I want to control the MC6, I've got it duplicated up here, so I can see what's going on. On stage, I don't know if I want a glaring screen in my face. I should be able to know this stuff. In the studio, it's one thing. And this is the thing I think that we really ought to talk about. How do you use your stuff in any given situation? When you're at home, it's totally different. When I'm working on the new Iridium, I want all of my stuff there. But I want to know what those cabinets are. You know, if you talk to me about a Malhavado or a whatever amp that's in the Helix, I have no idea what the hell that is. It's a Shiva, but you have to think about it, and I don't want to think about it. When I'm out in the world, I want to see a Shiva and know it's a Shiva and know how to set it because I've been messing with it on here. So just like the Variaxes, I rename all of my Variaxes as to what they are and the year they are and blah-de-blah. Or here, I want to see my guitar. If I hit that guitar, I want that to change into that guitar. And I want presets that work with that guitar. Or if I want to do jazz, I want to flick a page, find something else, hit a button, and everything works. Get to the right thing. If I'm working on, I don't know, a reggae thing, stick a foot of Bob Marley on there. I want the lyrics to come up. I want everything to be right there at hand, because I don't have time to sit here and mess with this stuff. You know, it's hard finding time to do this stuff. So I want this where I can write on it, click buttons, take this away, study this stuff, like remember the lyrics, work it through my head, try and get this stuff into my memory. That's what this group is all about. And give props to your boy Jörg, who's a working, surviving, living musician. He's doing pretty cool stuff with this. And I reckon, as a team, we should get together, really look at this stuff, and start throwing suggestions out. There is no wrong, but there could be faster. There could be better. You know, everyone's going to do what they want anyway, but having ideas is fabulous. You look at that. I can call it up from here. We'll bring up the right one to drive the Iridium. And all the buttons over there, which would be here eventually, I can drive by foot. Or I can do it from up here, and I could say, you know, where's the drive? Hit the button. Da-da-da-da-da. All these things I can control by foot. So strum, strum, strum. Crank up the drive on the thing, crank up the volume, increase the reverb in the room, change the bass, middle, treble. You can do all of that remotely. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. I don't know. This is a thing I'm studying, and I've been studying for the last year now, and not playing as much as I'd like to. But at the end of the day, all this stuff talks. When I'm going somewhere, I literally take this out of a bag, put it on the floor, connect one cable from one to the other, and go. That's how it should be, as far as I'm concerned. But your input is vital here, because sometimes it's overkill. I don't know. What you really want to see is what works best. And half the time, I just take those P90s there, and an amp, and chill out. But that's not Midi, is it? So anyway, sorry if this is dragged on, but props to Jörg. Great attempts, great videos. He was the first guy I knew that actually had one of these outside of myself. There's a whole bunch of other guys that do, and if you've never seen this in action, ask Jörg. The thing is incredible.